Yeah, that's the thing is I've gotten so much pineapple stuff, but that's why I didn't buy those pineapple leggings off the bat because I was like, all right, I need to slow down because it's getting overwhelmed. Like it's just getting ridiculous. Because like I got a bunch of stuff for my birthday in October and then a bunch for Christmas, and um, so I was like, okay, let's tone it down a little bit. But then I had to have the leggings, so they were worth it. All right, guys. So welcome to our kitchen table chat. This is our weekly little video style get together that we do on our team where we come together to just kind of share best practices, share success stories, brainstorm ideas, and just kind of talk about what's working in our business, what's working in life, what's working well in our fitness, and just various topics. And so tonight we are going to be talking a little bit about Instagram, and it's no secret, I don't think, that like everybody is talking about how Instagram is really like where it's at, and how like if you are not starting to build an Instagram presence and using some of those new tools as far as Instagram stories, then you're kind of missing out on building an audience and just connecting, just having another avenue to connect with people. So we only have a half an hour, so I'm not really going to go into the super basic fundamentals of Instagram. Like there's so many videos on YouTube that you can just go on YouTube and just kind of find out the basics of what you need to know. So what I wanted this to actually be is more of like an actual work meeting for you to do some of the things that I'm going to talk about. And these are some of the ways that I've grown my own account on Instagram. And let me see, I'm not even sure how many followers and stuff I have. Okay, so I have 6,000 followers, and I have been growing my account for pretty much, well, I won't say I've been growing it. I've had my account since pretty much maybe even before I started as a coach. I had already gotten Instagram, but I didn't really know what it was and I didn't get it, so I didn't pay attention to it. But I've had it for that long. And, so now I do things daily that are intentional to grow my Instagram following. And I'm finding that, like we were kind of chatting about before we started recording, is just that Instagram kind of gives a platform of greater vulnerability and greater just like come as you are, this is the real me type thing, which I really enjoy about it. And it kind of takes some of the pressure off from Facebook, where you feel like you have to just craft these beautifully written like poems and just stuff where it just has to like all look so wonderful with just the right emojis at just the right places so the text lines up and like all this stuff. But it's like Instagram, especially with stories, it's like people don't want that perfect content. People want to see what you look like as soon as you wake up in the morning for some reason. I don't know why. Just people like to see that morning groggy face while you're making your Energize, and people like to see your kids being crazy in Target and things like that. So that's kind of one of the cool things I like about Instagram. But what I want you to do, first of all, is I want you to kind of brainstorm on some of the things that are going to be like as far as building an audience, you have to know where to find people. So what I did personally, because like when I first started using Instagram, I was looking at all the popular hashtags, like hashtag fit girl, hashtag six-pack abs, hashtag bikini body, and just like a bunch of things, clean eating, just things that a lot of people use and look at. And those kind of hashtags are just like, they're not going to really help you find your unique person or your avatar or whatever you want to call it. So you have to really dig deeper than that to kind of figure out some things that are a little more unique about you. And one of the ways that I like to do that is I like to what I want you to actually do is like get out a piece of paper and pen and just like write down some of those things. And maybe you've already worked on creating your avatar and you have some of those more specific things. that your person likes. And with Instagram too, you can kind of even get location involved as some of the things that differentiate you. So this is one of the ideas I was talking to Phyllis about last week too, is just about how like finding some of those specific things locally, like maybe there is a brand, a restaurant, a coffee shop, something like that that's local in your area that is like if it was called like, I don't know, Pineapple Coffee Shop, it would probably be like a bunch of people like me that go there. So like if I were to follow their coffee shop, most likely there's a bunch of people that also follow the Pineapple Coffee Shop that would be just like me, and I would be able to create connections with them because we both follow the same brand. So what I want you to do right now is just like take a couple minutes and think of either location-wise or characteristic trait-wise, some things that are unique about you. So things like, like some kind of career-related thing, some kind of life-related thing, like mom of five, or, things like that. Now, let me tell you though, I'm not saying that this is going to be your hashtag. You're just going to use this hashtag to find other accounts that are going to be specific to you. And it takes a little bit of searching around and digging around into it. And if you guys watched my live video from a couple days ago, where I was talking about the IG mindset, and I was saying the same way that we have to be a product of the product and know our fitness programs and know our products in order to be able to use and talk about them, it's the same thing with Instagram or any social media platform. You have to be a user of the product. You have to know it. So this is one of those things where you really need to use Instagram as a user. Another idea is like a brand or a magazine brand or TV show, things like that. And the point of doing this part of the exercise is not that like following the Walking Dead hashtag is going to be where you're going to find all your new challengers. It's just that like that's one like clue into the puzzle of like where you're going to find more people, and like seeing what other hashtags people post within that hashtag. And you can like really dig yourself into, like, you can really use up a lot of time doing this, so you have to be careful. But authors is another good thing. Like if you are a reader, certain authors are great to look at their hashtags. And books, book titles, movies, just all kinds of things like that. Specific food things that are maybe like an intolerance that you have, or specific kid-related issues are great things to kind of start digging into a little bit as well. Tanya says, a good tool to help with hashtags is an app called Tagomatic. So I've not looked at that one. Tanya, is that a website or is it an app? Let us know when you get a chance. Another one where this is like one of my super go-to places that I go to is clothing brands. Not like big brands clothing like Ralph Lauren or something, but like if there's a brand, like a smaller brand, like, so you know how there's a lot of like Etsy stores and places where you can get specific, more like there's a lot of police wife t-shirt printing companies, and just like a lot of places that have like Etsy stores and Facebook pages for their their apparel companies that make specifically branded stuff. Like I know for me, a lot of times in my newsfeed lately, I'm seeing a lot of 80-Day Obsession things that specific apparel companies have started obviously putting in Facebook ads to people that are hashtagging 80-Day Obsession and things like that. But there's this one brand that does a lot of police wife stuff. So I go on their page and I see who has liked and commented on their photos. So like if somebody was super, like let's say that there's another police wife that wanted to start doing what I'm doing, like they could, and like they could go onto my page. Like if I had it, I don't have a page for the Police Wives Academy, but if I did, if they went on the Police Wives Academy page, pretty much everybody that's a follower on the Police Wives Academy page would probably be a user that they would want to follow. So hopefully that mindset is making sense. So that is where that is like how I go about finding new followers. So let's take, for example, a hashtag of self-care. So when I go into the self-care, the top ones, like the top 9 pictures, those are going to be like the top posts in that hashtag. But what I like to do, like I don't usually like to look at those because they're usually just like have a massive amount of like followers and stuff, and they're just already too big of a brand. So I go into the most recent, and this does 2 things for me. It gives me ideas for my own posts, and it introduces me to new brands and pages to follow. So like I go into the recent and I just start looking through, and I may come across something. Okay, this person posted something about Wednesday wine night. So that caught my eye because I'm like, oh, okay, this person is posting in self-care and posting about wine. So far there's 2 things about me that they also have in common. So now I'm gonna like click on her thing. And let's see. She's probably not my person because it looks like she sells something weird. And usually you can tell if someone sells something pretty quickly. Okay, so here's a person that is posting about self-care and sharing things, like sharing about some products that she's using. And these are all things that I've seen at Walgreens. So I know it's not like MLM stuff. But she's posting like a coconut milk lotion and a lip therapy thing. So that would be a person that I would look at her account and I would see like, oh, okay, this person looks like she has some common interests with me. So sometimes you're going to find people to follow, but then also sometimes once you click on their photo and you start looking, you have to like put your investigative hat on here, and you like start looking at some of the stuff, some of the hashtags that they've used in their stuff. So like this person has used self-care, healthcare, self-love, skincare routine, skin tips. So like if you were looking for skincare stuff, then you would click on those, and then that would like lead you down another rabbit hole of different people that are posting on that particular hashtag. And then you could like end up finding somebody else where you're like, oh, look at this person. She's talking about self-care, skincare, and wine, and she has a kid around my age. So it just like you can just kind of really dig deeper and like find different things. So that's kind of how I go about like finding new people to follow and finding new ideas for posts and new ideas for hashtags for like myself to personally use. Now like having a following does nothing if you are not like engaging with these people. So 2 things about that. And we're going to do another exercise here after I explain. But you have to have, like, Instagram stories is the big thing. And we all know, like, Carl's talking about it all the time and all that. But if you don't have followers, then you have nobody that's watching your story. So that's why it's important to build your audience. Because even though, like, a lot of the most recent social media trends is that people aren't as engaging as much with an Instagram post as they are with an Instagram story, but you still have to be continuing to add to your followers. Otherwise, nobody is seeing your story or your post. Stop. Was that for me? I don't know. Okay, so that's why it's important to do that. And the way that I've seen in some of my own Instagram research is basically to go in to your followers and comment on 3 of their photos. So what I do is I spend about 20 minutes a day just commenting on their photos. And it has to be something meaningful. And not just like, oh, that's a nice pic. Oh, that's funny. Just like something that would, like in real life, if you were like in person with that person, like something that would create conversation. So if you are having a hard time figuring out something of worth or value to say, then chances are, like, don't force yourself to say something. It's just like, maybe you just don't have something in common with that person if you can't figure out something to say. And another thing too is you don't always have to just comment on their picture. You can direct message them about their picture, which can really help to open up more fluid conversation. Because, you know, like if I go and comment on somebody's picture and, like, let's say they posted a picture of themselves at a coffee shop and they have like one of those really cool latte art type things. And I commented and said, like, oh, that latte looks amazing. I'm really craving a cafe mocha right now because I haven't had one in 50 days because of this program I'm doing. If I were to have just comment that on their photo, chances are she'll just reply. Maybe she'll reply to the comment. If she's not like an Instagrammer, she may not even comment back. But if she does, she might just say like, LOL, the latte was so good. I'm so glad I went into that coffee shop or something. But if I were to direct message that comment, then she may be a little more willing to develop in that conversation and be like, oh, what program are you doing? Or what do you mean? What nutrition plan are you following? Or, you know, like it may open the door to like actually have more conversation than just commenting on a photo. So if you want to do that on a photo, there's like, where is it? That little airplane button that's underneath the photo. Like you have the heart, the conversation bubble, or the airplane bubble. You press the airplane one, and then you can oh no, that's the share one. I'm sorry. Share to Messenger. Hold on. I do this all the time, and now I don't know what I do. Maybe because I don't follow that person. Well, if that's not it, then you can just go onto the like if you want to message them about their photo, you can just click on their profile and then just click the message button. And that's another cool thing about Instagram is you can message people even if you're not following each other. So, okay, so what I want you to do, and also, I don't only just go and comment on people who are on the front few pages of my news feed because it ends up being a lot of the same people all the time. So what I do, because I'm constantly going to the same hashtags and the same accounts to find people to follow, I go to those same pages and accounts and I start, like, a lot of them I'm already following now at this point because I've been doing this for a couple years. So I go in, like if I'm going to that clothing shop that I mentioned, then I'll go to that clothing shop and I'll go to their last post and click on their last picture and click on who has liked it. And I'm already following a bunch, like the majority of the people that have liked that particular photo from the clothing store. And so those are the people that I'll go and message, because a lot of times those people are, for whatever reason, they're not showing up in my newsfeed regularly, probably because they're not super active Instagrammers. And those are the people that I'll go and engage on their account. So I'll just go and I'll put like valuable, actual conversation building comments on their photos. Tanya says it's if you follow them, then it's the 3 dots by their name that you can message them. So I guess it just wasn't working because I wasn't following that particular person. So, okay, so that's what I want you to do right now. We're gonna take 4 minutes, and you can see that you can like do a lot of photo commenting in a small amount of time. So we're gonna go from 8:52 to 8:56 and comment on photos. Comment, or you can direct message them about their photo. Two more minutes. Okay. It's 8:56. All right. So we have worked through how to find new people to follow, first, like finding new people and new hashtags and brands to follow, and how to go about kind of building a little bit more engagement with people. So on some of the like Instagram research I've done to like build your account, they suggest following like 3 new accounts a day and leaving 3 comments on photos of your followers. And I think the reason for like the 3 is, I know for me, like if I see 3 that somebody has commented on at least 3 or more of my photos, like it catches my eye. But if just one person, like if they commented or just liked one thing, like I don't even really go and look at their account. I don't know why. I just like, oh, okay, that person liked my picture. But when you see 3 in a row, you're just like, oh, who is this person? So and for that reason, they may click on your profile, be like, oh, who is this Carissa that's commented on my pictures? And so they're going to click on you. And so you want to make sure that what they see in your profile is what you want them to see. So make sure that they understand, like, who you are, what those things are that you want them to know about you, that's going to make them say, oh, I'm going to connect with this girl. Like, this person gets me. I relate to this person. It's not necessarily like, some people that are like super Instagram savvy, like they're always like, make sure those the first 9 photos on your, because that's how many pictures you can see on your phone at once. So they're like, make sure that whatever is on those 9 photos is always what you want people to see. So like when someone clicks on your account, you want them to know you're into fitness, you're into clean eating, you've got a family or dogs or a specific kind of dog or whatever. Those are things that should be super prevalent and noticeable. So there was that. And always make sure that you're using hashtags as well. That's another reason why it's important to spend some time digging around into hashtags and discovering new hashtags to use. And this is something that you've got to do, that you've got to spend time doing every day. And, building those relationships, and of course, making sure to comment back to anybody that has commented on you is super important as well. So last thing I want to do during our little session now is for you to go in and find 3 new accounts to follow. So it's 8:59. So we'll go until 9:05. Our call will go until 9:05, but you have 3 minutes for 3 accounts. And I was just going to talk a little bit while you guys are doing that, but just to give you another example, I was thinking about like starting an Instagram account to help with Mike's business. My husband, he does property management stuff. And so just out of my own curiosity, I just put in hashtag VRBO, which is vacation rental by owner. So I just looked in here and let's see. There's lots of different like realty companies and lots of islandy stuff. But it's like if I did that hashtag, then I just came across this account for Asheville Cottages. So if I click on the Asheville Cottages page and just looked at their last photo has 24 likes on it. So if I was building an account right now of wanting to showcase like houses that are for rent in a mountainy area, then I would probably go and follow these, like some of these accounts that are showcasing properties in, in this area that are in the mountains. And the people that are following these accounts are most likely also interested in renting a place in the mountains or like seeing content that's about the mountains. So that's kind of what I'm going for. This is a post from VRBO. So like, VRBO doesn't have that many followers. So like there's only 70 likes on this actual post from VRBO. So every single one, I would go in and look at all these people. And I would look at the people that are personal people and the ones that are brands and just kind of start looking at them, seeing the hashtags that they're using, seeing the content that they're posting about, because that's going to give you, a lot of insight. And this is just one of those things where you have to realize and accept this is a business. This is part of like your market research that you have to do. So, it does take a little time to put into it to really dig in and find those hashtags and those, those other brands and things that you can connect with and use. But you know, it's just like any other company that pays for a bunch of research and polls and stuff like that to find out what people like, what people want, what they're, you know, what they're going to engage with and things like that. So anyways, that's regular Instagram stuff you should be doing every day. And where is it? Which computer? I have a worksheet thingy I'm going to post for you guys. That is like just a little worksheet for you to write down some of the hashtags that you're researching so that you can like remember. Because a lot of times you can definitely like start going down these rabbit holes and forget how you got to where you are now and what you originally started looking at, and then you get lost. So it is helpful to kind of track some of these things. And then my last tip is, you know how sometimes you'll see something posted that's funny, that's like either like a funny mom quote or like a copy one or something like that. And sometimes on the bottom of it, it says like the IG name on it, like sweatpants and, what is that one? Sweatpants and coffee or something like that. You know, so like the very first time I ever saw one of those, I didn't know what that was. But then when I went to their page on Instagram, then it's like a whole account full of these funny coffee things. And so that's a great one. Like I go to that page all the time now, but it's like when I would see them on Facebook, I never thought about it. But then when I see the name now, I'm like, oh, I'm going to check their account on Instagram. And so it's a great way to get new content ideas also, but then also to just kind of do the same thing. People, if you think it's funny and you enjoy it and you relate with it, then the other people that are following that page are probably people that are similar to you. So it's a great way for you to go in and check out their followers, check out who's liking their photos, and then go check out those people. So hopefully that made sense. Does anybody have any questions on that? Comments? No?
So do you do you follow people who already have a business? Like you're already in MLM, or do you just skip those because in the long run, they're not going to switch to Beachbody? I mean, like what is your...
If they're like actively, like if their account is like actively showcasing a product, then not usually, no.
Because I'm seeing a lot of people, if they don't have a business, have their accounts private.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see what they like or anything like that.
Yeah. That's true. I follow a good amount of accounts every time I go and do this. I probably follow like 20 to 30 accounts a day. And the majority of them are all private. And I've never gotten into, you know, like some of the Facebook jail type stuff that we run into with sending friend requests and things like that. I've never had or heard of things like that happening on Instagram. So I pretty much assume that if they're following some of the pages that I go to, that they're my person. So I just kind of take the leap of faith. And the only time I don't follow if it sounds like like when I click on it, if it looks like it's international or if it looks like it's a guy. Because sometimes like on this clothing thing, sometimes there will be like husbands that go on it and tag their wife to look at it, you know, because he's probably the police officer and he's like, hey, honey, look at this shirt that supports me, you know. And so, so I don't follow them. And sometimes even if someone has a private profile, sometimes they'll have like a smidge of information about themselves in their profile. Like they might say like, you know, wife, mom of 3, whatever, you know. So, alrighty guys. Oh, and then Carissa says, do you bring people who are interested in your challenge groups over to your Facebook? I do ask like once, usually like I'll be engaging with them in direct message back and forth, and then I'll ask them if they have Facebook. And I've run into 1 or 2 people that don't do Facebook. They're just like, no, I closed my eye. I don't want to deal with the drama or whatever, you know. So sometimes that's a little tricky because, I mean, like we have the challenge tracker app, but it's like I have a harder time like having a really good connection with people if they're not on my Facebook. But you know, we still do have that. We still have, you know, the ability to help them still in Instagram and then plugging them into the Challenge Tracker app. And the other thing, and this is definitely something that's pushing me out of my comfort zone, but I'm in order to, because a lot of people do kind of stay more, even if they do have Facebook, they don't go on Facebook as much. They're spending more time on Instagram. That's what a lot of the research is saying. So I am trying to push myself to use more video in my messaging, like in my direct messaging too. Like even, I just did this to Michelle Harris the other day. I sent her a message and I sent it to her as a video message. And I do that, you know, so I'm trying to do that a lot more in order to help build the more real connections with people. So they're seeing my face and they're seeing what I'm seeing, you know, like when I'm trying to explain what a challenge group is and I'm talking to them on Instagram, I'll actually do like a little video and scroll through on Facebook. I'll scroll through the last little bit of posts in the challenge group. So then they're getting like a little glimpse into what the challenge group looks like, and those kind of things. So that's one of the things I'm doing to kind of help connect a little bit better on Instagram, because I feel like they don't get as much of that personal taste for some reason. So
I had a question.
Sure.
Do you think, so I go back and forth with doing videos on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I post them. I've been doing more like the Instagram stories lately.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any like feedback on videos? Like obviously I know like a lot of people just do pictures. I don't know. I just wondered if you had any feedback.
Yeah. I mean, some of the trainings I've done with Shalene Johnson, she says, and it's been a while since I've done hers and things change all the time, but she says that posting video is good because just like on Facebook, like people connect better when they see you in video. But she also says like, be prepared to not get likes and comments on it. Cause I think it's like in your Instagram feed, I don't think the video plays automatically. So people like already have to press a button in order for the video to play. And she says that like, since they already had to press something, they're less likely to press again to give you a heart, which is like so crazy to
right. So silly.
But it's just like a human nature type thing. I guess maybe they think like I've already like used my thumb, like they don't associate that it was to press play on the button, not to like the video. I don't know. So I still like, I post a video here and there of like ones that I've even, I have my Instagram story settings to automatically download everything that I put on my Insta story. It automatically downloads onto my camera roll. So sometimes like if I did maybe like 3 different workout moves on my Insta story, I'll put them all together on iMovie into one clip and then up and put it as an Instagram post.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that way I'm not having to like remake content and, you know, so then it's there. I don't usually have any comments on it, but I just put it there anyways.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, alrighty guys, well, I hope that this helps. I'm going to post a little worksheet for you that's going to help you track some of the hashtags and stuff that you're going to be researching and using. Then we'll talk a little bit more about Instagram stories on another call, but this one I just wanted to get you guys into a daily routine of building that audience, because like I said, doing a story means nothing if you don't have people that are following you. So that's kind of step 1 of getting into it. So anyways, guys, thanks for hopping on. And oh, I forgot to do the drawing. For those of you guys that participated in our Shakeology drawing, well, not our Shakeology drawing, but for posting your picture of drinking your shake using the Challenge Tracker app. Let's see. There was a lot of little papers, which is a good thing. All right, Sue Erickson. Yay. I don't know if she's on. I think she's usually working during our call, but so yay, Sue. And our second one is Carissa. Oh, Carissa's on. Yay. So you each won a Shakeology boost. So I don't know if you guys use those or not, but I've been using it pretty much since they came out, and they're awesome. And they're really great in ADD obsession because 2 scoops of Power Greens is a green container. So that's been super helpful for me because I'm not a fan of eating vegetables at 5:30 a.m. But all right, guys, I will get with you and get your address so I can send those out. And that's it. So have a great night. Love you guys.